From an early age of only 7 years old, Zane learned to play the first of many instruments, the piano.
There was something that I could identify with, and I found that I was able to pick up more instruments even easier and easier through time, and it was something that became part of my identity, and now it's a huge part of my identity.
Over time, Zane's curiosity and passion with piano led him to explore other instruments.
Well, let's see, we've got I play piano, electric bass, upright bass, guitar, ukulele, banjo, drums, xylophone, melodica, that's one, and then I'm pretty fluent with synthesizers and everything like that. I play harp. Okay, that's one. I always forget about that one. Went to pawn shops, saw something like, ooh, look, there's a banjo. Let's pick that up. Learned to play a little bit. I had a pretty decent understanding of how these instruments worked already because of what learning piano had taught me musically. When I moved into Spokane right before freshman year, I had started picking up the guitar. I just picked one up at a yard sale and started figuring it out. Then after that, once I moved here at G Prep, I played the upright bass for the orchestra, but then after that I didn't really like orchestra, but I still continued playing upright bass because I did like that.
Zane quickly became fascinated in creating his own music, always experimenting with different sounds. He says that music is an expression of himself, and his creativity reflects that.
Creativity, I think it's a freedom, it's an expression, and it's a freedom of expression. Basically, to be able to create something is to be able to conjure something in your mind and to bring it to life. And I think that is really important, and I think that's an aspect of humanity that is often overlooked. You graduate high school and then you just go into a 9-to-5 job, and some people stay with that their whole life, and that doesn't leave much room to make things that are original. It just kind of leaves you in the pathway of something else that's already been predetermined. But if you take a creative route, go into something artistic, or even become like an engineer, like anything that allows you to make something, or even if you're like, I don't know, if you become a cook, like if you want to make food, like do something where you can make it original, be a chef, I don't know. I feel like we don't see enough art in the world, and creativity is the freedom to express that art. Music provides lots of different ways to be able to express one idea. I can express emotions that are hard for me to speak vocally, but I can sing them, if that makes sense. Like, it's easy to write them down poetically and then put them to chords. There's always the standard writer's block that occurs with music writing as well. It occurs with composing. Sometimes the right melodies in your head. A good workaround for me is if I'll grab a synth, and I'll just start going over in that key signature and playing around. But then like lyrics are interesting. Like, I wouldn't necessarily consider it a block. I'd say that like I'm usually in a mood to write when I'm writing.
When I asked Zane to take me through his creative process, he found it easier to show me rather than tell me.
So like the process isn't honestly necessarily something that has to be uniform. A lot of musicians have different processes, and a lot of people come up with different ways of going about writing their music. So like the musical aspect of it, we'll start with I'll think of a chord progression. We'll start with a key signature, so we'll go with C minor for this one, and I'll just play something here. So and then after that, we'll have a nice chord progression there, so we'll change it to a bass. And then we'll think of a bass line that goes well with those chord progressions. Alright, so then we'll get a bass line going. So then, get some drums. Creative, like, I don't know, you could add some like strings. Let's see where those are. Get another one just for fun. basically after that, if you've got some words to work with, you have to put those to it, and if you want to, it depends if you want to make the words work with the music or if you want the music to work with it, depending on what you might write first. Now, I don't really have anything in mind for this necessarily, but since I have this music, I might have a subject in my mind, so I'd keep the music in mind while writing it. If I don't have a beat in mind yet, then I just go freeform writing poetry, and then the music would have to work with that. So depending on what I want to do, how I'm feeling, it's what I might write first.